The future of water supply and contamination. Where does contamination come from? Contamination can come from a wide variety of things, but we're going to focus on service industries and domestic disposal. First off, service industries. Examples of contamination coming from service industries can be spreading sludge, animal feedlots, and mining. I like to think of service industries as the aquaculture industry. That's a better way for me to remember it. We're going to go ahead and focus on mining. So mining is something that can cause a lot of water contamination because it uses a lot of chemicals. They have to use the chemicals to remove the metals from the ground, which produces waste. A common chemical is mercury. Mercury is very, very harmful to the human body. It's not only miners using mercury is not only harmful for us drinking the water, but it's also harmful for the miner because they're exposed. The table on the slide shows the type of metal and the total energy it takes in the waste that is produced. So copper is the highest and produces the most waste. Domestic disposal I like to think of as is the household disposal. So what is coming from you personally? An individual sewage system is like a septic system, and that can cause a lot of contamination as well as just the way waste is disposed. Contaminants. A lot of contaminants that end up in our water are organic chemicals such as carbon tetrachloride, inorganic chemicals which are metals, disinfectants which can be chlorine, radionuclides such as alpha and beta particles, and microorganisms such as cryptosporidium. So how are we protected? These chemicals are extremely harmful to our bodies and can cause us to be sick and even die. So in order to protect us, the Environmental Protection Agency has set up laws and regulations that ensures the quality of our water. For example, the Safe Drinking Water Act was created in 1974 and is the main thing that ensures our quality. They also decide how water can be treated, which is in many ways. The water treatment process. Water can be treated through many different processes. A few of them are flocculation, sedimentation, filtration, and disinfection. Here we have a picture that shows the process that water is filtered and treated. We start with coagulation, which removes dirt. Then it goes to sedimentation, which takes out the heavy particles that go to the bottom, and then we have filtration followed by disinfection and finally to storage, which then eventually gets to us. So all of this is in the US, but what about elsewhere? We know that we are lucky enough to have safe water, but others are not so lucky. In fact, 1 billion people lack access to water, 2.6 billion people do not have proper sanitation, and this causes many deaths per year. And in some places, it's actually the number one cause of child death. A few of the common illnesses are protozoa, cholera, and typhoid fever. So where is the future? Luckily, other countries are also interested in finding a way to help other places get water. There's a movement in Europe which is trying to find cheaper and more effective ways to treat water, which will then allow other places to have this too. Currently, there's a drive for new technology that will reduce the contamination process through the treatment itself. So even though the treatment process is taking contaminants out of the water, it also itself produces its own amount of contaminants. For example, chlorine. Chlorine is part of the disinfection process, but the chlorine itself is a contaminant. So they're trying to use ozone only. Just as an example, they're trying to use ozone only. That way they completely eliminate the contaminant of chlorine. So what can you do as a person? If you have a septic system, make sure you check it often. Another thing you can do is with your yard, switch to gravel or wood decking to reduce runoff. You want something that's going to be absorbent, not like concrete. You can use a drip irrigation system which provides water to plants only when needed, and also watch your water consumption, such as how long of showers you take, turning the sink, or even just turning the sink on and off. And make sure you dispose of waste properly, such as cleaning chemicals.